Forever. Dog.
Greetings, mortals. I am the Lord thy God, King of the universe, creator of space. We don't need the vocal effects. Can we lose that?
But my actual voice is fine. Okay, great. Hello, I am the Lord thy God, King of the universe, creator of space and time, or as I prefer to be known these days, at the tweet of God. For over a decade, I've entertained my over 6.2 million followers with my wit, misanthropy, and oft-stated regret I created any and all of you. Well, now I'm taking my hilarious blend of contempt and disgust from the Twitterverse to the podcast verse with my new show, the predictably named Godcast, premiering Wednesday, January 27th on Forever Dog. On Godcast, I'll be opening up my infinite mind about everything from politics to the nature of reality to this week's point spreads to how much longer I'll save the Queen to that weird new growth on your neck. I'll answer prayers, take spiritual phone calls, surprise people with live eternal damnations, justify the platypus, and even explain the Bible, which is not at all easy to do. Plus, every episode, I'll be interviewing a guest, either alive, like Stephen Colbert, Zooey Deschanel, and Lin-Manuel Miranda, or dead, like Moses, Amelia Earhart, and Lizzie Borden. Joining me for it all will be my adorable sidekick, the 18 to 34 demo appealing Joan of Arc.
Hi, God.
Hi, Joan. You excited for the show?
Sure am. Hey, could you put me out now?
Not now, maybe soon.
Sounds great.
New episodes of Godcast will premiere every Wednesday, so be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Or you can, and will, go to hell. Godcast, from the creator of At the Tweet of God, and everything else.
Hey, we haven't even pulled away from the drive-thru and you're already digging in the McDonald's bag.
Aw, babe, just a few.
All right, I guess I can't blame you. Pass me some, too.
The smells too good to get it all the way home meal. There's a meal for every moment at McDonald's.
And now your favorite spicy chicken McNuggets are back. Get a 6-piece spicier classic for just $2.50, only at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Warning, the following podcast is reconstructed from the bones of our Superstar Limo episode. It also contains further arguments over cuteness, top Disney vocalist Huey Lewis, and ham in the pool? Oscar Montoya joins us to talk Monsters, Inc., Mike and Sulley to the rescue on today's podcast, The Ride.
Welcome to Podcast The Ride, the only theme park podcast that emits a very faint hint of ginger at the top of every episode. I'm Jason Sheridan, joined as always by Mike Carlson.
Yes, I'm here. I'm Mike Carlson. I insist, though, that this holiday we emit a gingerbread smell, but I am happy with the ginger most of the year.
Sure, yeah, it's a palate cleanser most of the year, and then it'll just be an assault of like holiday-themed baked goods for like 2 or 3 months
just
at the end of the year.
Strongest artificial gingerbread smell possible is what I like. That's my personal taste, so I would appreciate it if we do it. But anyway, let's see what smell Scott Gardner would like to hear. Or smell. Jesus, I'm losing my mind.
Whoa.
How long have we been locked in our apartment?
Hearing smells. Oh, man.
Oh, I'm high, man.
Trippy idea, dude. Yeah, I know. You should have, you should have really dove in around the holidays. Should have, grinded up a bunch of gingerbread cookies and just dove in. That would have been a nice Christmas. If you got to spend Christmas alone, then just, scar-facing a pile of ground-up gingerbread's one way to do it.
That is such a... Honestly, maybe I'm in the minority here, but as a kid fantasy, and maybe it starts from DuckTales, but diving into just anything that's not water is such a... it sounds like such an exciting, fun thing. Obviously not something that would hurt you like coins, but the idea that you could swim in cookies or in, I don't know, I'm trying to think whipped cream or candy. As a kid, I think I always wanted to do something like that, but it's very impractical. Did you guys share this? feeling, or am I alone? Am I a weirdo?
Well, you want to do the ultimate version of it where it doesn't start to get gross or inconsistent really quickly, or the material doesn't break apart immediately after the dive. If there's cartoon logic behind it, then sure. What I flashed to when you said that, I think one of the things I miss in Pandemic the most is chips and salsa at a Mexican restaurant. But I don't know if I really want to swim in salsa. So maybe if I could swim in the chips and just kind of bite them wherever I go, and then release salsa through some sort of water gun situation, so that I could it's just little spurts, because I think the swimming in salsa would maybe get a little exhausting.
Chips? Wouldn't you get cut up if you dove into chips?
That's what I'm saying. You have to apply cartoon logic, I think. You're probably getting scratched at some point.
But okay, Jason here, how about this scenario? It's a giant pool, and they somehow figure out a way to cook a brownie inside of it. So it's a giant brownie-filled pool. Would you dive in? Because that would be soft, and then you could eat your way out.
Would I dive into a solid object?
Yeah, but it's a brownie. It's soft. It's a soft brownie.
I think that would still injure. If it was angel food cake, I think you could get away with it. But I think the impact of the brownie. Let's bring our guest in, because he's nodding along. He's one of the hosts of the Inside the Disney Vault podcast and the podcast Killed the Video Star. Oscar Montoya is here. Hi, Oscar.
Hey. Hi. That's a really good question. I do agree. Angel cake. Angel food cake.
Yeah.
Because angel cake is not a thing. That doesn't exist. What is angel cake? Angel food cake. I think that might be the correct answer here. For
a soft landing in some kind of a non-water dive.
Yeah. No. Who? No. We're jumping into food, and I think the thing is, I would want to dive into cartoon food. There's nothing more delicious than cartoon ham. If you know exactly what I'm talking about. The look of cartoon ham is so delicious. I would love to dive into a pool full of cartoon hams and just munch my way.
I like the idea of this a lot. But would the hams be full kind of intact hams that you would buy? They're not cold cut, the deli sliced.
No, not
cuts.
Sliced ham, full ham. I don't know what body part that is of a pig, but it's probably every body part of the pig. But it's those, it's that dark reddish exterior and the soft pink interior. Also, the consistency of cartoon food, or just cartoon stuff. If we were living in a Roger Rabbit world, where it's we have our live action selves and then cartoon selves, the cartoon people would have this rubbery consistency, very soft rubbery consistency, right?
Oh, do you think?
Am I crazy in thinking
people,
that?
The way Disney's decided in Toontown that cartoon things are sort of soft and foamy. Do you think the people would also be similarly soft and foamy?
The cartoon people? I think so.
Well, they're obviously they're flexible because, they get hit. If an anvil shoots at their stomach, it bounces past. And then they can, so I think there would have to be, they would have to be flexible in some way. They would have to be soft in some way. That makes sense.
Because they can't feel flesh and fleshy, because they don't have flesh, right?
No, not muscle.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse, I don't imagine having muscle and sinew. It doesn't feel right.
Right. Or fur, even though he's a mouse. I can't.
No, it's not quite. Maybe a little bit of a little frosting of fur, just a little smattering, but it's not hair like our hair. It's not an inch of hair.
No,
I think the Looney Tunes are furry, or fur and feathers. I feel I get that from the Looney Tunes a little, but the Disney base is so classic ink blotty from the hanging around from early days of animation that I don't know. I think soft would be right, because if you suddenly touched Goofy and it felt like a human man, it would be oh, this is
That's weird. That's weird.
This is weird.
So what you're saying is, if you touch Daffy Duck, it would feel different than touching Donald Duck?
Whoa.
What's the difference here?
I guess I am saying that. Daffy doesn't wear any clothes either. He just has that one dignified collar.
Yeah.
I think it depends what versions of the characters we're talking about, because the new Mickey cartoons, there's a Ren and Stimpy-ish thing they do sometimes where they give a very close-up face of the close-up shot of the face where you can see like detail and like bloodshotness and like skin, and I feel like that might be the most if you were to enter that frame of the cartoon and you touched, it would be the closest to maybe a human being, but other than that it would be what you're describing, like a rubbery feeling perhaps.
Right.
So I think it all depends, because cartoon logic changes so often. So sometimes you touch Mickey, it feels like, a cartoon. It's like a bouncy house. And then sometimes you touch him and it's like a decaying old man.
Oh, no.
It all depends.
Because Mickey's old?
It all depends.
Because Mickey's...
Well, in the instance when they show a close-up of Mickey and he's freaking out and his eyes are big and you can see like his skin and you can see what's happening, I think that's when that might
But then are we talking about the same Mickey, though? Like, is the classic Mickey that we all know and love the same as this like new reiteration of Mickey, just like at a different time period, or is it like alternate dimension version?
Yes, I think it's a multiverse. I believe there's a multiverse of characters, because we've seen different versions of the Mickey characters. We've seen different versions of Looney Tunes. There's been different types of drawings with them. So yeah, like in DC Comics, for instance, they call different Earths Earth 1, Earth 2. So
that's right.
In the Mickey multiverse, there has to be like an Earth 3, which is the new version of the cartoons, and
we're giving it away. We're giving it away for Into the Mickeyverse is $1 billion movie.
Yes, you're right about that, honestly. Because then one of the Mickey verses is just in theme park characters.
Interesting.
That look like the ones you see there, and they have their own world and lifestyle, and they obviously feel more like felt.
Interesting. So if we're making this film, I would say franchise, because
we are, by the way, we are making this.
Blue Sky.
We're making it.
Yeah. Would one of the Mickeys in the Mickeyverse, would it be an actor inside of a Mickey suit?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. It would be like the Disneyland. It would be like and I think generally because it's Mickey needs to be on the shorter side, I think it's often a lady that plays Mickey.
Oh, interesting.
So,
and then maybe the whole narrative could be like, wait, but I'm not Mickey. I'm like Wendy.
Right.
And they're like, no, you've been sucked into this machine of Mickey, so you must be Mickey. And then it's her journey of like realizing that the Mickey was inside her and not outside of her.
Right.
This whole time.
Is a Mickey-shaped pancake part of this? Can there be a plot arc involving a Mickey pancake?
I think it makes a cameo, but I don't think it's part of the main
enough narrative. At the same, I mean, one coming to life and having thoughts and feelings would be pretty fascinating.
It's like Spider-Ham. It's like the John Mulaney Spider-Ham. It's not the star of the movie. You get some good moments, some good set pieces.
Yeah, sort of side
right. Yes, I like that.
Yes.
But Oscar, you're here today. We're not talking the Mickey verses. We're talking the Monster verse. It's the Monster verse. It's your friends at Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. Sorry, I want to say it with all the punctuation, because I think this might be the theme park attraction. Maybe it's up there with most punctuation in it. Monsters, Inc. Period. Mike ampersand Sulley to the rescue! Exclamation point. So you got 4 kinds of punctuation in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this failed a grammar test, I feel like.
Yeah, well, it's like jockeying with it might have been in the lead, and then Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout might be challenging it now, because I feel like you've got a colon in there. I think there's a dash in there as well.
Don't forget disaster! Exclamation point! Colon, a major motion picture ride, ... starring you! Exclamation point. I get again, we're at 4. If you can top 4, I think that's really that's where you take the cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's topped. I don't think anything tops 4, right? We haven't found one yet?
Someday.
I think 4
is somebody will point out it's got to be one somewhere, but yeah.
The big chance, as has been acknowledged online, the big chance, I think, is however they rename Splash Mountain to be about Princess and the Frog. I think it's possible it might break 5, but we don't know the name yet, so we're waiting with bated breath.
Splash.
Yeah.
You're
Splash
right, yeah.
Mountain, Tiana's Journey, dash, dig a
Splat-
little deeper, exclamation point.
Double dash.
Splash.
Dig a little deeper.
Yeah, that's got to
That's
be in
the
there.
song, right? That's the big
Yeah, yeah.
That is definitely in there.
It just feels like a warning, like a passive aggressive, like warning to the writers. Like, come on, dudes, dig a little deeper.
Dig a little
have a little more
deeper.
fun on this ride.
Yeah. Oscar, I think initially when I asked you to be on the show, you said, "Have you done Superstar Limo?" And the timing had worked out where I was like, "Yes, literally a week ago did we do Superstar Limo."
I mean, but this is this is like
This
the
is
reincarnated version
the next
of
chapter.
the ride.
in the evolution.
This is in the Superstar Limo multiverse. This is a different world. It's because it's similar, but it's obviously something different happened. So this is Earth 2. Superstar
But
Limo
let
is
me
Earth
ask you
1.
this.
yeah.
Let me ask you this: who would get top billing?
Okay.
In this, I mean, it could be funny man Tim Allen. It could be it could be the stars, the Hollywood stars, Antonio Banderas and Melanie Griffith.
Maybe in a way, Jackie Chan is the biggest star depicted in that ride. Maybe like in terms of
Jackie
Wasn't
Chan
Regis Philbin one of those people?
Regis was the very first
was
star I think you see leaning out a door, like waggling money at you.
What a ride! What a ride!
Yes, he's luring you over with money.
You had some Superstar Limo fascination, Oscar.
Yes, I did. I have to say, I've never been on the actual ride, but I have seen videos of it. I watch the video maybe once, twice every month.
Sure.
And I show my friends because what year did that ride come out? Because not a lot of people remember that ride.
Right, 2001. It was opened with California Adventure in 2001.
Right, yeah, and it was such a weird. It was just like a weird question mark, and of course, it wasn't going to be evergreen. Were they planning to update it every 5 years, 6 years? Like there was. Could you imagine still going on that ride? I mean, I would love it in 2021 to still do a ride 20 years ago, you know? Like, that would be such a fun time capsule for me, but I don't think people would be down for that
Those weren't
ride.
even relevant stars,
No, I mean-
all of them at the time, let alone 2001. Yeah, so it'd be extremely bizarre if it stayed. But also...
Like, is there a celebrity that's still relevant today that was on that ride?
I think Jackie Chan worldwide. I don't think Jackie Chan has ever retired. I think he's still making movie. I don't know. I think he's made a lot more movies in Asia than America recently, but I think he still has the name recognition. I mean, Drew Carey hosts The Price is Right every day.
Yeah, just from sheer how often are you in media? I think it would be Drew Carey, but he looks, especially now, much
Totally different.
He lost a lot of
yeah.
weight, and now the beard is radically different. So they'd have to add that.
Yeah. Well, Tim Allen is he's been on that news show for 10 years, I feel like, too.
Hey, which speaking of multiverses,
oh, that's true.
Do you know that there was an episode of that show where whoever the hell he plays on Last Man Standing meets Tim the Toolman Taylor?
Yes. I saw an image. I like it too.
Wait, explain that to me. I don't quite follow.
Now, on Last Man Standing, he runs a fishing and tackle shop, but also is a famous vlogger for his crankiness. I believe is the setup.
Jason, you know far more than I thought you would.
I think that's all. That is mostly what I know, and that it jumped from ABC to Fox. And is it still going on Fox, or did it finally get pulled?
It's wrapping up.
No, I think it's
It's on the way out.
But
it's still
final
airing.
season.
Yeah. But so I had to look up the character. Tim Allen on that show plays Mike Baxter, and through some justification that I don't know offhand, perhaps another multiverse, the Timiverse, Mike Baxter meets Tim the Toolman Taylor, the character from Home Improvement, and there are scenes with two Tim Allens talking to each other. Like he managed which I'm almost impressed by Tim Allen's acting prowess to be able to go, who is Tim Taylor as opposed to Tim Allen? Because you'd think it's the same thing, but I think what he does is to kind of dial up the gruffness and, he's sort of in this zone a little more. And the which, that's the persona, not Tim Allen, the man. So, I love this kind of horse shit. This is like TGIF. I wish things were this.
It's very TGIF. You're right.
Yeah. Weird. Yeah. Crossovers and.
They did that all the time in the 90s. They had huge crossover events. Like NBC had those like weird, like yearly crossover shows.
Oh, yeah.
All of their programming.
Like
yes, the Blackout. That's what it's called.
In what was that? Friends, Seinfeld. I think there were
what's
others.
the show with he's Ted Danson show? Becker.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a CBS.
And then I think
I don't know if that would have been in the
Becker
Blackout.
was CBS.
Oh wait, no. Okay.
Oh.
Was it?
Oh.
It wasn't Boston Common. I think that was.
Wait, are you saying that all the shows experienced a blackout on the same night?
Yeah, so all the Must See TV. This is back when like Must See TV Thursday. There was a block of 4 shows. All 4 shows were, I believe, took place in New York, and there was a blackout. And so they all made sense. I think they all made sense on their own, but they all had to work the blackout in some fashion.
I got it. I got the list, and there's no way I could help you guess one of them. You will never, ever guess the other. Okay.
Really?
Okay, so similar to Seinfeld a little bit, like stand-up vehicle, also lives in New York. They all have to be in New York to make this work. NBC sitcom star. In 94 is when this was. Can you think of what that is?
Is the show named after the comedian?
It's kind of a two-hander, but one of them is sort of Seinfeld-esque.
Okay.
Might say.
I'm not going to be able to guess this.
It's not that guy who I always know the name. It's not one of the Dabney Coleman shows.
Wait, did you got that one? Not the other. This is madness.
What show was it?
Oh my god! I was going for Mad About You, a very popular show.
Mad About You. Okay.
You're talking.
Wait, what was the show that you said?
Do you know
Jason?
the name of the show?
I don't remember. What was it called?
The show is called. Wait, my internet's blanking. Madman of the People. Starring Dabney Coleman.
I don't remember the show at all. I just remember Dabney Coleman, an actor I barely remember. I remember the name from the 90s, and I feel like I was talking about it to you guys of like, Dabney Coleman had 2 different sitcoms back in the past.
Wow. That's just...
Now I need to Google search and see what he looks like.
He was in a lot of kids' movies. I'm trying to think what the bigger, the Beverly Hillbillies or Tootsie. He's
in 9. Isn't he the boss in 9 to 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest
one.
role.
Sort of looks like Dr. Phil in this picture.
Yeah.
He sometimes
Clifford.
he does.
He's in Clifford.
There
you go.
He's in the Towering Inferno. Okay, yes, I remember
everywhere.
him.
He should have been on Superstar Limo. Put Dabney Coleman.
Dabney Coleman.
The ride would have still been there.
It should have been renamed the Dabney Coleman Experience.
Yeah.
It's just like, how'd they get into the blackout? It's 3 of the biggest shows ever, and then Madman of the People gets to coast on the wave of the blackout.
That's what I was like. It's not Ned and Stacy. It's not Boston Common, and it was just out of
This
reach.
is madness. This is some of the most obscure trivia, I feel, despite being network TV.
As a very young nerdy tween, one of my favorite things to do in the summer was to watch this programming block that USA Network aired called I think it was either prime time in the AM or PM in the AM, and they would show and so it was like Wings, Ned and Stacy. It was all like sitcoms.
What's Ned and Stacy?
So
that was
vehicle.
That was Thomas Hayden Church and Deborah Messing. It went like two and a half seasons, and it was before Sideways and before Will and Grace. But that was what I liked. That was what I evolved from Muppet Babies reruns to watching that.
Did you watch USA Up All Night as well, Jason?
I don't remember USA Up All Night. I would just turn on Comedy Central and watch whatever was on. for hours.
So absolutely fabulous for many hours in a row. That's what I remember about it.
I didn't understand any of it. I did not remember. I did not understand the UCB show, sitcom sketch show, the original one when it was on. I did not understand Viva Variety. It was all, I got Kids in the Hall, but like the others, I was just like,
what's Viva Variety?
That was a bunch of the Reno 911 and state people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They did a lot of those too. I think there's more episodes of that than there is of the state.
I think that's right. Exit 57 was the other one.
Bizarre.
That was them too, I think.
Can I say the strange fact also that Dabney Coleman's Madman of the People was frequently directed by Monsters, Inc. actor John Ratzenberger?
No.
That's right.
Wow.
Who shows up in this ride.
There
His
is
character
an
from
appearance.
Monsters, Inc., the Yeti.
It's a very fun little
makes
thing.
an appearance.
That's a delightful little door that opens up. And I guess that gets us out of the territory of Viva Variety. I think that
but Oscar, you're a star, just like the riders, just like the guests at the end of Superstar Limo. So if something comes back around, feel free to, don't hold yourself back. Oscar, do you like Monsters Inc. the film? You covered it, I'm sure, at this point on your show.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love Monsters Inc., but I love Monsters University far more than I like Monsters Inc. And that was an unexpected surprise for me when I covered it on the podcast, because prequels are always, to me, a bit of a miss. Because it's like, why do we have to do this? Why do we have to go back? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But to me, it hit harder, Monsters, especially with Mike Wazowski's storyline. And it's really, have you guys seen Monsters University?
Yeah. I thought it was really charming.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, it's very charming. Yeah. But Monsters Inc. is great.
Yeah. So you're fans of both, but the second one is your preference.
The second one is a slapper, as they say.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. I gotta revisit.
The second one, in the theme park world, I think of the second one as like around the time it came out and right after, those Monsters U hats just became immediately bestsellers.
That was the merch
in all the theme parks.
Right.
Yes.
The aesthetic.
But no ride yet for Monsters U.
No, I guess, to flip it into its own thing.
They should just open an actual university in the Disneyland Resort. Like a full credited school.
Yeah, sure. And it's like as expensive, and they also have their own loan program because they already have it for the annual passes. So they can do sort of like predatory loans to people who just want to be in Disney all day.
This is a potential money. Hey, listen, Disney, if you're listening, which I know you are.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. This is potentially a money grabbing thing.
Literal
here.
predator.
They
predatory loans because he's a monster.
Yeah. I mean, for a while in the 90s into the 2000s, you could go to something called the Disney Institute at Walt Disney World. And that was, I mean, man, we should do a Disney Institute episode. That thing was so
You
strange.
definitely should, because it's a weird part of Disney history.
It is. Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, Michael Eisner went to some adult retreat sort of thing, and he's like, we could make some money on this. We could do that shit.
Fancy classes.
And that is pretty much long gone at this point. I think there's still like, business professional classes and education workshops you can do.
Oscar, the fact that you know the Superstar Limo and the Disney Institute, you're some of the strangest, weirdest ends of Disney lore. Any other that you're fond of, bizarre corners of the Disneyverse?
For me, I mean, I'm not very familiar with Walt Disney World. Like Disney World, I don't really know at all. Disneyland is what I've been obsessed with. And it started when I moved to California, because I was not really a Disney person at all when I lived in New York. And when I moved to LA, all these grown-ass adults were so obsessed with Disney, and I was sort of weirded out by it.
What?
I didn't get it. I was like, what?
It can be a lot. Deal? It can be certainly a lot at first.
100, yeah, at first, because listen, in New York, we're not close to the park, so we don't have that sort of like, foaming at the mouth, passionate drive that these Disney adults have. So I was very scared, and also I was I was born and raised in Colombia, so I was like kind of really unfamiliar with Disney movies and like that whole thing. I like missed all of that. So I was like, I don't really get it. And my friend Claire and co-host of Inside the Disney Vault, she was like, well, have you been to the parks? And I'm like, no, isn't that for children? And she's like, no, I'll take you. So she took me, and it truly was, it was incredible. It was like, what? I got it at that point. I was like, oh, there's magic here. There's like actual magic here. And then I become obsessed.
Is this in the 20s? Is this like later for you a little bit?
This was 5 years ago.
Oh my God. So this is possible to be a total late bloomer with all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Your adult, I'm interested in your adult years. What were the things that really made you go like, oh wow, I get it. This is the thing. These are the things that people say they like.
Yeah, I mean, it was to me, the dark rides have always been like, for me, the reason to go to Disneyland. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not a roller coaster person or like wild, like Six Flags. Hell no. I got nauseous at the freaking Wile E. Coyote ride, the children's ride. I was like, I ain't doing this shit no more. No. And Disneyland had like just enough excitement for me that made me feel like a sort of badass. Like Space Mountain is a child's ride, but I feel like that's probably like the threshold for me as far as thrills go, you know? Mm-hmm. But it's aesthetically so thought out, incredibly well, like really, really put together. And the details, it's the little details that I was super impressed with. Mm-hmm. That I was just like, oh, there's like so much history here, and there's so like I can keep coming back and discover new things, you know? That's what I fell in love with.
Boy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
beautiful to hear.
We talk about detail. I would say this is a details-oriented podcast. Sure. I would say that. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Whether it's the Pinocchio ride or Madman of the People with Dabney Coleman, it's the details that we.
But also the thing that I'll say too about Disneyland that I really like is how creepy it is. Like specifically when it comes to the dark rides. I mean,
yeah,
you go to hell in Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
What a shot! Like what a surprise! Like kids did that all the time and like didn't even blink an eye. Like how creepy some of these rides are. The Pinocchio ride, terrifying.
Yeah. There is an aspect, there is an aspect to some of the rides where you do feel like there's a little like hauntedness to them because there's the smell that smells old. It's some sort of building material that they don't use anymore, so it smells like your grandmother's house maybe. And you can like feel like. You can feel like the ghosts. You can feel like a Walt's ghost just being like, hey, have fun out there. Like, I feel like that's there.
And also something so like popcorn and rainbows looking. I mean, it's got to have a secret dark past. You know what I mean? There's got to be a lot of nasty underneath all that, like pretty paint, you know?
Sure, of course.
That's why I love it.
Yeah, if it's been around a long time, yes, for sure.
This attraction,
Monsters,
I think,
Inc.
Monsters Inc. is sort of like, feels like kind of an advanced version of the dark rides. It like has some things in common with them, with the Fantasyland rides. Specifically, there is the like. I've certainly seen it as a complaint or criticism about it that the characters, they aren't full animatronics, their mouths don't move, but it is in that sense a throwback to your Alice in Wonderlands or your Mr. Toads, where there is a suspension of disbelief and not every one of them is does the full thing, but you're still, I don't know, you can still get caught up in it. Like it's not a requirement for me that they all have movements.
And I think it honors the vibe of a dark ride while adding a layer of polish to it. You know what I mean? It's not like an insanely it still feels like a dark ride. Which I like. I like the animatronic look to it, but the robots move like smoother. There's like, it's like prettier, brighter, but it's still it still works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I was going to say, it's got like, mid 2000. It's got a newer technological base, early 2000 than like the base, the original Fantasyland rides have been kind of redone so many times. This has only been redone once. I'm sure they've done basic maintenance to it, but it went from, Superstar Limo, which barely lasted 2 years.
Did it even make it that long? They wanted to yank it so fast. If you want to, we did a whole episode about it, which you can listen to. So not to recover any of it, but just to lay it all out. When California Adventure opened, there was this one dark ride that was like a current pop culture, snarky, Holly weird sort of vibe that was just instantly greeted as with like the worst feedback that any ride ever has gotten out of the gate. Probably even more so. There's rides I think people dislike more. This Bad Figment ride always comes up, but like it wasn't that was never reviewed by the newspaper. Like I feel like Superstar Limo got in trouble because wow, Disneyland opened up a whole new park. What's it all about? Oh my god, it sucks. Like this ride just like got all the stink of the early bad PR. So they had to get it out of there ASAP. Though Oscar, I'm sure you wish you could have experienced it.
Oh god, yes. But I will say, even for 2001, the ride feels incredibly dated. Like it just, it expired the second it opened. Do you know what I mean? Like who thought of this idea? Who thought this was actually going to work? I love it because it's campy and trash. Like that's why it's great. It's fun to make fun of it. Yeah,
of course.
But to genuinely be excited to get on that ride. For real? I don't know. I don't know if it has much legs.
I don't know if there's a person who genuinely...
When Monsters, Inc. opened, too, there was also, like, a lack of that classic Disney dark ride in California Adventure. So, it filled a purpose. That movie was a big hit, so it got those characters into this park. And I think it does a pretty good job of, like, using these horrifying bones of Superstar, like using the taxis with the little TV screen. You blatantly reusing, like putting a yellow jumpsuit on some animatronics.
Yes.
Yeah, because as we discovered, I think, or as we guessed during our episode of Superstar Limo, like some of the bodies and the heads are partially under there from the celebrities.
That's
Oscar,
so
have you ever
crazy.
seen any of these side by side? Have you seen the like explanation of here was the Superstar Limo robot and now here it is?
I haven't. No, I don't know what robot was.
I found
what.
bigger. We showed a couple of these in a slideshow at our live show, but I found Jim Hill Media. They did a pretty good breakdown with even more that I'd never seen. So you can see poses side by side. I didn't realize how many. I thought there were only like 2 or 3. It's a ton of them. Here's Jackie Chan and he's kicking and hanging off a wire, and then here is a two-eyed sort of two half heads child detection agency. If you don't know, that's the yellow jumpsuited characters that wear hazmat suits because everybody's afraid of children in Monstropolis. So you slap these suits on these bones of bad wax figure. Not even wax figures look good. These are like like bad action figure. They're like low end action figure versions of celebrities. Here's.
Yeah, it's like the Times Square caricatures that you would get.
Yeah, yes.
Mm-hmm. Like that's whoever designed
odd
this.
Proportions.
The resume was I made $5 caricatures in Times Square.
It boils somebody down to one interest that may or may not be an interest of theirs, like in Drew Carey's case, maps to the stars' homes. Why? Does it make sense? So he pops out. Drew Carey would pop out and fan out all of these maps. So they replace that with here's photos of Boo, the missing child.
Oh,
so he does the same gag, and he says in the ride, here's the child we're looking for. They really try to hammer home the justification. Here's Cindy Crawford, who looks uber trashy in that original depiction.
I mean, I'm scared. I'm fully scared.
Especially frightening.
What?
And then, it's just like kind of a big-headed spraying a bottle. I don't know. It's a decontaminant spray, maybe. Here's Tim Allen with a microphone at a stand-up club.
That doesn't even look like Tim Allen.
Not at all. No, it's like very Duracell man, like those weird commercials. So no longer a microphone, but now like a big sucking machine or something, but still with weird crossed legs. It's kind of this casual, like men's model version of a hazmat suit.
But they had to break his hands. The hands are at least tilted. They had to break the animatronic's hands and reset them.
And on some of them, they clearly remove the head.
Oh, you're right. Yes.
Like when we go back
snap
up.
them off. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, replaced one head.
Oh, yeah,
with
Drew
two
Carey doesn't
in
have
the
a
case of
head.
Jackie
That's
Chan.
right. It's just a big backpack.
Drew Carey's head was removed.
Oh, wow.
So Drew Carey's body is under there in the suit, but his head is somewhere else. It's missing in Imagineering somewhere.
Wow. That's frightening. Do you think he's wearing I assume this is an Aloha shirt. Do you think he's still wearing this shirt underneath the contaminant suit?
I want to hope he is, but if I had to guess, I think they took the shirt off and it's sitting in a closet somewhere in Imagineering. That's my guess. But I'd like to think that under there is the clothes.
I am afraid
That's still Drew Carey.
if you pry off the yellow, it'll just be big splotches of industrial glue, like on home renovation shows when they pull up carpet and it's like, wow, look at this beautiful hard wood under all this rubber cement.
They had to pad out. If you look at the yellow suit, they obviously had to pad out the legs and arms because like, for instance,
right,
there were on Star Tours now, there are the robots that check your luggage. Do you know what I'm talking about? That go like there's not your luggage. They test luggage and they're like, yeah, beep, 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 whatever, and they're like pointing at things.
That's a prerequisite to get on the ride. You have to bring luggage to the ride.
You have to check a bag to do it. But you can see the robot has a little tail, and those are like they were geese on America Sings. They were originally like a bird, a robot bird. So I'm guessing that these aren't just exoskeletons under here, but it would be funny if it was just like when the Terminator is burned and it's just a skeleton underneath the yellow suit. It's possible it is. I don't know.
We got to get to the bones. We got to see what's down there.
If that's the case, I mean, I will say it's incredibly impressive that they were able to build a Monsters Inc. ride, just like put a Monsters Inc. paint over this this ride.
It's pretty clever.
Because the ride slaps. The Monsters Inc. ride slaps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's great.
Definitely.
It makes sense.
But
wow, this literal 1-to-1 ratio of
there's so many, and apparently even it's not even all the hazmat suits. Apparently Regis Philbin turned into Randall, the chameleon Steve Buscemi character. That one's really hard to parse. He's got money in his hands in the Regis version, and then it's just a weird clause.
Yeah, they did the most work with this
Cher.
one.
Yeah, Cher's just another hazmat. Anyway, yeah, so bizarre to look at these.
Hello, Forever Dog listeners. I'm Allison Raskin.
And I'm Gabby Dunn.
And we host the podcast Just Between Us, which is available right here, right now on Forever Dog.
Just Between Us is a variety show that features listener questions, in-depth interviews, and topical topics.
We also play a game show called Hypotheticals. I could try to explain it to you, but the rules keep changing. I make the rules.
And I always lose. We're also joined each week by incredible guests, including disability activist Alice Wong, Planned Parenthood's Alexis McGill-Johnson, best-selling author and therapist Lori Gottlieb, and primatologist Kate Gilmore.
New episodes of Just Between Us drop every Wednesday. So while you're listening to this podcast, search for Just Between Us with Allison Raskin and Gabby Dunn. Hit that subscribe button and check us out.
Please.
Please.
Just Between Us.
Yeah, they did a really seamless job. I was trying to think, and I haven't been on every ride ever, so I can't really make an official ruling, but this is maybe like the number 2 redo behind, like, there's a ride in Japan called Sinbad that I love. That's amazing, but it was a much different ride in its first version. And if you go on it now, you wouldn't necessarily know that it was in this strange, I mean, you wouldn't know. We didn't know there was a very strange version before, and I think it's the same with this.
Right.
If you go on Monsters Inc., you wouldn't be like,
wait,
this is clear.
Sinbad based on the adventurer or the comedian?
Well,
the adventurer.
The adventurer.
The comedian.
Okay. It's not.
Now that's an idea. That's another $1 million idea.
It's not about
Sinbad the Ride.
You watch his experiences growing up, what inspired his stand-up, the colorful characters in the neighborhood that influenced his bits.
And what he's doing in his golden years.
Yeah. No, believe me, I would have said that's one of the best rides ever, too, if I had gone on it.
Yeah, Sinbad's journey to comedy fame. Now, did you guys come across? I don't think we talked about this with Superstar Limo before, but the whole in the timeline of it, like within the first year of that ride being open, it was like we have to do something. We got to get this ride out of here. But there were other people saying we can't lose that capacity. This ride does eat people, and there's not a lot to do in this park. So I don't know if it can go offline for that long. Can we keep the bones and do something with it? And Monsters Inc. is what they landed on. Is that what Monsters Inc. came out in 2003? So they didn't even have that option
2001
at the time, to do a ride out of. It was 2001. Okay, all right.
Yes.
So they could have, but they didn't make it there for a little bit. Do you guys know about what it almost was instead of Monsters Inc.?
Oh my gosh! Wait, was it a Chicken Little ride?
Oh yeah, what else?
Please tell me it was Chicken Little.
I hope it was Chicken Little.
Home on the Range.
What?
That is I think that's not the worst Disney animated movie of all time.
What's the worst one?
It's Dinosaur. Do you remember Dinosaur?
Dinosaur
You think
come
Dinosaur's
up a ton
worse?
on this podcast. Well, now here's a question: you've seen Dinosaur?
Yes.
Do you remember when obviously the main character Aladar? We all love Aladar, the primary dinosaur in Dinosaur.
The iconic. Do you
remember
Aladar,
when Aladar is a baby? He's just born, and you see him pee and fart. Do you have any recollection about like how you felt about the baby version of the character Aladar?
Off-putting, incredibly strange. Oh,
Oscar, look at.
I hate it. I hate this. Disgusting. Why bring this up?
This has been a debate for what feels like a year. I am apparently until now, the only person who didn't find that to be specifically cute. The word cute, and in fact, very cute, has been used by people on the show, by much of our audience.
There's no way.
Thank you,
Jason
Oscar.
and I think that's cute.
He's cute.
He's cute.
A cute little guy.
Explain to me why that is
right.
cute.
All right,
Little guy. He's wiggling around.
Let me bring it back up.
No, Jason. I'm sorry.
Mike?
Look at when here's he.
No.
Baby Eldar is farting on the bottom here, and he lets out a tooth. Look at his little face. It's so. Maybe I just need to have a baby. Maybe that's what's ticking in my head. But
no,
he looks.
I have a baby that is like 10,000
Yeah, your baby
times
needs are
cuter than
satiated,
this.
Scott.
Babe,
You have one. You don't need
human
one.
Human babies are cute. This is not.
I don't like this because it looks like it has real. It looks too much like a human, and it has that weird animatronic Uncanny Valley vibe that I don't like.
Sense is being spoken on this podcast. We've regained sanity here on podcast.
Dinosaurs don't have cheeks.
Yes, they do. Look at his little cheeks, kind of like he does a little sneeze when he lets out his little fart. It's so cute. He's got he's got these little arms, his little, that's very cute too. The short arms with kind of the wide body.
I don't like this.
This was a technological marvel. Okay?
Yes. Humans had progressed.
The
beginning of the new century.
This was a triumph.
You know what's a technological marvel? A technological marvel was the flying whales in Fantasia 2000.
Hey.
That was a technological marvel. And then we didn't need Dinosaur. We didn't need this weird technological experiment that was Dinosaur.
I'm keeping
and
this
we certainly
up.
didn't need Chicken Little for sure.
Kind of forgotten about.
I'm conducting a little orchestra here, much like the evil Ivan Ooze. I'm yes, finally. Oh, it's
God, Ivan Ooze!
Yes, Oscar, keep complaining. Mike and Jason, defend yourselves.
I'm happy to defend. I'm happy to throw the topic out now and do another hour.
I can't believe that.
On Baby
Have you
Eldar's
seen the
fart.
movie, Mike? Have you seen
No.
Dinosaur?
No, I haven't.
Wait, you haven't seen it?
No.
I forgot about that fact. Mike got a new phone last year, and he's like, oh, guys, hey, check it out. I got the new iPhone. Send us a screenshot, and Baby Alex
No!
was the
He
wallpaper.
chose to look at it. He wants to look at it every day.
I was crazy.
And had to get a second device to photograph his phone to make sure we saw that was the wallpaper.
Lindsay, my girlfriend, Oscar, you've done her podcast many times. I texted her during that time, and she said, yes, very cute. She agreed with me.
No, Lindsay, I love Lindsay to death, but this is where both of you are incorrect.
Boy, I just want to tap out here. I'm worried this episode has peaked for me. I just need to go. Like, I feel like I've been to the spa.
Because, okay, Mike and Jason, do you find a lot of things cute? That might be it.
Oh,
because if you think that the Aladar is cute, then you might think like everything is cute.
I'm not a man who's afraid to call something cute. Like I would call something cute. So I am not opposed to the term.
I'm not a cute troller. I don't believe that. I've been accused, I think, by Scott of trolling, calling people cute just for troll purposes, and I don't believe I do that because. Well, there's been characters on the show and the Patreon, at least, that we've discussed that I think are not cute. And I'm not like Fuzz Bucket is a movie that came out on the Disney Channel.
Oh, I know Fuzz Bucket very well. Yes.
And I hate Fuzz Bucket is a little turd and I hate him.
And you're just a hater, Mike. Okay, that's it. You're just a hater. I get it. Okay, that's fine. And that's fine. And that's okay.
But Riff, the fourth Barney and Friends character, which is he's an orange
Oscar's turning
dinosaur.
away. Yeah, that was a long take.
You might just like dinosaurs, I think, because there's you can't.
I am a dinosaur fan.
I have a question for all of y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is cuter, Baby Aladar or Boo from Monsters Inc?
Boo. No.
Quest. Boo.
Okay. All
I think
right.
Boo.
Thank you. Well, Scott,
wait. Mike hasn't weighed in yet.
Let me take a look here.
No, remember
Mike,
the
Boo is really cute.
This is ridiculous.
The way she calls Sulley Kitty and she calls Mike Wazowski.
Oh.
I mean, just immediately.
Thank you.
Yeah. Made me want to have a kid.
I'll say Boo.
All right, begrudgingly,
Boo, but I don't even know.
You didn't want to say it. Your heart couldn't.
I don't want to say it. I feel like I was sort of set up here in this question to make Baby Aladar look bad. But I will admit, I'm not a cute troller.
Nobody puts Baby Aladar in a corner.
Oscar, you think Dinosaur is a worse movie than The Good Dinosaur?
Oh my God, that's a great question because they were both atrocious films. Okay, so the only thing that saves The Good Dinosaur is where they eat those berries that are hallucinogenic, and there's that like weird trippy animation that was like way too short. Yeah. That's the reason why I would rank The Good Dinosaur higher than Dinosaur. Dinosaur looked just like brown crap.
Yes. Like cracked dirt is the aesthetic of most of that movie. You're just looking at like sad ground.
That's what it is. It's like weird clay. It's like someone tried to do a claymation project and just like didn't color any of the figures.
Good Dinosaur, though, I didn't see Dinosaur in theaters, and I would have been a kid, so it's not like I could have been like, let's walk out. But like, Good Dinosaur was the closest I have ever been. Of like,
I imagine Baby Jason those are his first words.
That is
Dinosaur.
something Baby Jason would say. But seeing Good Dinosaur, I can picture sitting in the ArcLight Pasadena, going like, what's their policy of getting your money back? Like, is it too far into the movie? Like, and I think it was probably not helped by like, I knew going in, they had like fired everyone from The Good Dinosaur. They fired the whole voice cast and they brought on new direct. Like, it was such a debacle.
It was a mess.
Yeah, it was a trouble.
It was a mess.
So
but
probably feeding into it.
Even despite it being a hot mess, it doesn't compare to Dinosaur, which I think is a bigger mess.
I have not.
I said it in my podcast. I said it Inside the Disney Vault. I told listeners, I was like, listen, if Dinosaur is your favorite Disney movie of all time, let me know. And I've had 4 people reach out. 4 people thinking that Dinosaur is the best Disney animated movie. Better than Aladdin. Better than The Lion King. Yes, better than fucking Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Better than those movies.
But did you survey when they saw it? Like, because if you see any movie at the right age range, like,
and I think that's it, Jason.
And I think,
I think, and that's it. Yeah, they were like, I saw it at my formative years. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, there it is.
Fine.
And that happens with theme park rides too.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's enough opinions out there for everyone to have, I guess. Even like the craziest opinion you can imagine. Somebody has it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put it out on the internet, people will, love to engage.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and they'll engage, but more dinosaur discourse. we stepped right in it, like an Aladar poop. So, no.
I bet it's really like a real nice shape, a cute shape.
Oh boy.
Okay, so to back up, because I think we left it hanging where it did sound like I was saying that there was a home on the range ride proposed. I don't think that's the case. What they wanted to do, the quickest fix they could imagine for this ride was, we're not going to change the vehicles. We're going to try to not change the settings if we don't have to. But we got to get these creepy celebrity animatronics out of there. But what do you replace them with? You can't just have people go through cardboard flats. Well, wait a minute. We have just started, this is 2001, we have just started redoing all of the Disney stores in America. We're starting to gapify them. We're making them as boring as they can possibly be. Just like a big swishy D instead of like the fun characters up. Because if you remember what Disney stores used to be like, and some of them are, like the whole second layer of the store essentially are a bunch of characters, often filming a movie. I think it depends store to store what it is they're doing and what characters are up there. But they were starting to retire that theme and get rid of all of these, not animatronics, but like maquettes essentially of all the classic characters that could turn and stuff. They wanted to flood Superstar Limo with yanked Disney store maquettes and call it Goofy's Superstar Limo. This was a plan on the table for a long time, and it got far enough that then head of the resort, Paul Pressler, was given an after-hours tour of the part. At least they did part of the ride, decked out with rejected characters that were sitting in the Disney store warehouse. they like decked it out for us. So this ride did kind of exist. Isn't that bizarre? Like weird.
Could you imagine?
Buy up figures from malls in Ohio and Indiana and truck them out to Anaheim, and that's your ride now.
What would be the storyline?
Goofy's, if it was Goofy's Superstar Limo, then so it must be all the same stuff. Like you're on the way to a movie premiere for Goofy, but then like the three little pigs are gonna like give you a makeover. Like, is it that kind of thing?
Everyone's favorite Disney characters, the three little
like
pigs.
You see them a lot, even though nobody really cares about them. Dumbo is going to read you the Hollywood Reporter on the way. I don't know.
Where are Goofy's real friends at? Where's Donald? Where's Mickey? Where's Daisy?
Maybe you got to save them because like you can't use more than one unless we're going by multiverse rules. You can't have like 20 Mickeys in the ride. I don't know. Mike Jason, you never came across this odd. This was like a Jim Hill discovery a long time ago.
No, I missed this. This is very strange.
Yeah.
It feels like, I mean, if you just think, take Superstar Limo and you just replace, put Goofy on the ride. It's still obviously a bad ride, but it's not horrible. Like whatever the scale of the characters, it must have all been so odd for them to go, there's no way we can do this. This looks so shitty.
Well, because they're small.
Yeah, right.
The biggest issue with the ride was that there was... the magic with the dark rides is that there is a storyline. There's a narrative happening.
Yeah.
The narrative of like going to a movie premiere is so loose, so flimsy. There's nothing there. For then to just replace it with Goofy, it's still going to suck because there's no story. Yeah. At least with Monsters, Inc., there's a narrative. They literally copied the plot of Monsters, Inc.
Narrative.
But it's like, what can I attach myself to in Goofy's Superstar Limo?
No.
I think you could force one in, but it would be expensive. And my pitch is that Goofy is trying to get to the premiere of the Goofy movie and he's causing chaos in Los Angeles. He's goofing everything up.
Okay.
But then you got to get Max in there. You got to get Roxanne in there. You got to get Pete in there. You know, you got to get all these guys and all these other characters. But then
you're Powerline in there.
You got to get Powerline. He unplugs the power at a Powerline concert.
Oh, I like that.
Why don't they just go? Why doesn't this Powerline concert the place they're going to?
Oh, that's good.
It doesn't even have to be.
He's in a limo to a concert, VIP at the Powerline concert, because he's trying to help.
And it doesn't have to be a limo. It could be his car, which is a reference to the. Why isn't there just a Goofy movie ride? Because then you can have like the Disney loves these like drops. You know what I mean? And there was a waterfall scene in a Goofy movie. You could incorporate that in the ride.
It's that would be great. I mean, it's timing wise. Everything was falling apart when Goofy movie came out. Sadly,
that's true.
For the Disney,
don't you feel like
Euro
if they,
Disney disaster?
Yeah. If I feel like if they announced now we're doing a Goofy movie ride, I feel like people would, like the most ardent fans would be pretty fucking psyched.
Oh yeah,
because there is a huge fan base for that movie now.
Yeah.
Yes, it for sure. Yeah, they're not like doing cool stuff like that, and I know that sounds like that's one of the dorkiest thing to say. They're not doing cool stuff like make a Goofy movie ride. It's not really what I'm. They're not doing like.
You mean it as an asterisk next to your cool?
Yeah. Well, it's like when I said that like box lunch at the mall has hip Disney merch like Aristocats merch. And I was like, all right, well, hip I guess is not really. Hep.
Hey kids, come on in, take a seat. Let me tell you about the Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah, that's a hip choice.
That's a hip
for your Disney shirt.
Hey kids, have you heard of Fun and Fancy Free?
Yeah, there you go.
It's what they call packaged films.
Merry Melody. Hey, Looney Tunes was on later. There's a Merry Melodies is what they used to call them back in my day.
Look, I wish
you kids are all probably about the lunatics. The extreme ass kicking Looney Tunes.
Of course, yes.
The manager's like, Greg, we're gonna have to fire you.
The voice you use is
you can't talk
really
to kids
off-putting.
Mike, I'll give you credit though. I know what you mean. They will invest in a few pallets of like Powerline T-shirts and lapel pins, but they won't like commit to a multi-million-dollar.
No, it needs to be
ride.
something they're confident in now. They're gonna make like 3 to 6 movies of. Sadly, like it doesn't feel like unless it's like. Truly like Disney Vault classic. Then like in Tokyo they're building a new Are they building a new Peter Pan right in Tokyo? That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, they are.
So like something like that maybe they'll build, and they built the Beauty and the Beast ride there. So unless it's one of their prestige things, it's only going to be new stuff. I feel like, and not cool edgy Disney material like Goofy movie,
like the Black Cauldron. Where's that ride?
Or Oliver and Company, the cool ass shit that Disney used to make.
Huey Lewis, nothing cooler than Huey.
Mike, for the listeners, Mike just put on a bolo tie.
Yeah, I'm cool now. I'm changed. I'm cooler. So I wish. As I think we've said on the show, I think Eye to Eye is the best Disney song ever made. I think maybe it's like Part of Your World and Eye to Eye is they're tied maybe.
Tie. Oh wow, yeah. Eye to Eye is a slapper. I have a weird, bizarre favorite.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
And it's from the 1977 movie The Rescuers.
I think I know.
And it's called The Journey, and it's the very beginning intro song in the opening credits, where it's sung in the perspective of a message in a bottle. Saying, and it's in the sea, it's in the ocean waves, and it's a beautiful montage opening credits where they're going on a journey, hence the song. And it's beautiful, it's great. It's sort of like The Carpenters, except a little spooky, a little bizarre, and I love it. I think that's my favorite Disney song ever.
Wow. I've certainly seen the movie, but I don't remember this.
Yeah, it's not that doesn't stick out because I haven't seen the movie in a long time. It sounds great. It sounds like that'll be
so good.
That immediately will be back in that'll be one of the hipper things we like once you've put it on our radar, I think. That's what
the
Well, the
Rescuers
song itself, but yeah, the Rescuers. The Rescuers is already, of course, very hip because it's a little more obscure too. But the song specifically.
Well, and
right.
I remember watching the Rescuers somehow as a kid, but the VHS I had was Rescuers Down Under, which is like the tonal it's like the brightest movie I can remember from my childhood because it's in Australia. It's just so much sunlight.
Yes.
And that first Rescuers is so dark, black,
dim,
and green,
yes.
and dim and stuff. And it's such an interesting switch between those two movies.
What song was in the Rescuers Down Under? What was their like?
Is there
That's
one?
I don't know the answer.
What was their song?
One song.
That's years later too. That was like there was a pretty big gap between those movies.
I cannot recall.
That's a long.
I don't
time
think there
later,
is a
but
song.
Oliver and Company was one of my first like in theater movies. So I, as a kid, just
that
always,
has good. That has good music.
It does. Yeah.
What should I?
Why should I worry?
Yeah. That's a good song. And then Bette Midler has a song in there as well that's also
And
really fun.
You know, maybe my favorite Disney song is the Huey Lewis Once Upon a Time in New York City, which I just learned was a Howard Ashman, actually. Like a quieter, I even referenced in the documentary, but Howard Ashman meets Huey Lewis, which is pretty cool.
That is good.
It's one of the synthier Disney songs, so that adds up for me. To go back to this pre-Monsters Inc. history, there's one more thing I want to throw out. This one seems like this. I don't know that this one got anywhere. But also Jim Hill claims that there was they almost redid it quickly into Miss Piggy's Superstar Limo. They almost tried to throw him up at somewhere.
They're really hung up on the superstar aspect of the ride.
It's gotta be about superstars.
Why?
They love that name.
Yeah.
Like Superstar wasn't a thing before. I mean, I think that was a thing before.
Question.
Why are they so enamored of this?
And limo too, because the cars don't look like limos.
No, they're.
I mean, in the Monsters Inc. ride, they're cabs.
Yeah,
to
it
me.
just changed.
They are.
I can't imagine that being a limo.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, good. I was just going to say, sometimes you can't let go of an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say goodbye
that's
to those scrunched little limos.
Yeah.
But Monsters Inc.
They did the right thing.
You get in a taxi.
They changed entirely.
At the Port Authority.
You get in a taxi. And it's great because it's like you walk in and then, you get a picture of the city of Monstropolis. Like you get newspaper clippings, you know what's going on. You get into something that, really isn't that explored in Monsters, Inc., but you explore the actual city, which is like, oh, that's fun. I feel like I'm a monster in this ride. It's it does the job of making you feel like you are a citizen going on this journey. So you sit in the car and it's great. It's fun. I think it's well, I don't want to say A+ because it's not perfect, but it's an A ride for me.
Wow.
It's got a lot of tricks I like. Like at the top of the ride where you see the footage of the monster giving like the man on the street and he's doing the like the yokel had been abducted by aliens, like talking about the child with the eyes and tentacles, and you come around the corner of the ride and then you see the like statue maquette thing. You see the interview happening in real life. I think that's a nice trick.
That's cool.
The Randall, a lot of the Randall tricks are very good. Him swinging from the door, color changing
amazing.
Towards the end. Like
Randall has sort of a similar. I now I'm realizing I'm cursing poor Randall, but Randall has a very similar Jack Sparrow in Pirates vibe on this ride in a better way. He has more fun tricks of like, oh, there he is. And it feels like they put some more time, time. They're better things than just like Jack Sparrow and the barrel and stuff. But I apologize to Randall for the association.
Well, Randall is a villain. You wouldn't mind.
This ride.
Randall's listening to
I don't want to offend him.
And he's very sensitive.
Yeah, no, I know. So that's what I was doing.
I mean, this ride aided by like, the voices of like Steve Buscemi, Billy Crystal, and John Goodman too.
Right. Let's not forget Jennifer Tilly.
And Jennifer Tilly. That was the last one I was trying to think of. Like, who is Cecilia?
Oh God, it's the goddess Jennifer Tilly. And also, I mean, it also the ride also has my favorite scene, which is Harryhausen's the sushi restaurant, which is a nice nod to. The creator of all those stop motion movies from like the 50s, the 60s and 70s, like Sinbad, those Sinbad movies. And yeah, like all of that chaotic scene in the restaurant was like so perfect. God, I loved it. Oh, I love that.
That scene is the best. That's my favorite scene, I think. That's that's a common opinion to have, I assume. That's not crazy. Is that seems like
a lot of people love the Roz at the end.
And the doors are cool. All that stuff
is
cool. But yeah, that sushi. That's and the ginger, of course, the smell in there.
There's
which I think we determined is probably the only theme park ginger smell that exists. I don't think we've found another example of them with fake smells. We did a fake smell Final Four last year.
Ooh,
we broke down the best fake smells in theme parks.
And what was the best?
What was it? I forget.
E.T. The E.T. ride.
Oh, E.T. right, of course, the forest.
Yeah. Wait, what was the smell?
It's like a forest.
Oh, wow.
And so, it's
a forest, but it's, that doesn't sound so great. But yeah, if you were there and if you go in Orlando, there's just a magic to it, a musty magic.
Is the ride still around?
Still going
in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. They took it out.
Oh, wow. At Universal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Gone in Hollywood a long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so that one. But Ginger was in the mix. And
didn't make it that far. But
I will say this, and I don't want to get us, we're being very positive, and this will sound negative, and I guess it's a little negative, but I always forget about all this stuff because I don't go on this ride that often. Because the queue, the exterior of the queue, inside the queue is great. I find it a very kind of similar to almost like Men in Black, where I really appreciate how mundane it feels. It feels like it's part of the world. Both of those movies have aspects where you have very mundane, officey type things put on fantastical, I don't know, constructs. I don't know what words I'm saying here, but you get what I'm saying. It's very office-like, and then it's a fantastic world.
Yeah. I think to add on to that, Mike, I think that there's, when it comes to getting on the ride, the waiting element of it either makes you believe that you're a stranger coming into this strange land, so it either impresses or it immerses you into that world, right? And I think the Monsters Inc. ride does a really good job of making you feel this is normal life for my character, the person that I am in this ride, whereas the Hogwarts ride in Universal Studios is very much look, be impressed by all this cool stuff. I don't think Monsters Inc. does that. It's very much this is your everyday life. Let's get to it.
Yeah, the fun of Monsters Inc. is the mundaneness of it's putting on making scaring kids not something that's mystical or fantastical. It's just a job. It's a boring job, and that's what's fun about it. And then you get that vibe initially of you're going to work, which is fun. But I will say the exterior and the place this ride is located sucks.
Yeah,
it's bad, and it doesn't. I think we've found this on a lot of episodes, and we found this with the Soarin' in Florida versus Soarin' out here. The Soarin' in Florida, I'm not happy with what's outside. It's inside of a big building. There's a lot of stuff. It's kind of confusing, and I don't really have any desire to go to it because of that. Even though it's the same ride out here. But the ride's version out here has a very cool hangar. It's very inviting.
The location makes sense.
And it's so interesting how I really feel that makes a huge difference on if I go to the ride a lot or not. It's what it looks like and what the area around it feels like. And the place it's in California Adventure is this just weird empty lot now that's been used a lot for different festivals, the Glow Fest Festival, the Mad Tea Party. These are all things I like, by the way. Whatever it's Electronica.
Yeah.
But during the day, it's nothing. And it's just this weird empty square. And then the exterior of Monsters Inc. is just flats, just sort of boring, cheap looking flats. And every time, and I feel like maybe I go once or twice a year on Monsters Inc. And every time I go on and I go, hey, these things are great. Why didn't I? But I never want to go on the ride. And I swear it's just because of its location and what's going on with traffic flow out there.
I 100% agree. It is in a weird. It's also, I believe, the only dark ride in California Adventure. Yes.
Well, Little Mermaid now.
Little Mermaid now.
Oh, Little Mermaid. Yes. But see, the Little Mermaid placement makes a lot of sense. I mean, also, it takes a lot of space for a not that impressive ride. And, Monsters Inc. is just sort of like in the middle of nowhere. It just feels very tossed out, like just like an afterthought, you know? So I totally agree with that.
Of course, it's like a messy, it's like the last part of the park that's sort of untouched because, you know, they put all that money into it years ago now when Cars Land started. And it feels like they've been like, we're getting to this. We swear we're getting to this. And then they like touched it with putting in Guardians Ride. And they're like, we swear we're going to do something soon. But in the meantime, we're just going to throw like chairs in the middle. And then we'll put like a Black Widow photo op where you can meet Black Panther or Captain Marvel over here. And it's like, but like by a soundstage. And it's like, are they actors? That doesn't make any sense.
It's chaotic. It's just chaotic.
It's a lot. Like there's a lot going on. Every time you go there, like when Jason and I were there for the Guardians opening, it was like the Summer of Heroes. And then it's like this really like militaristic music plays and an SUV drives by with a Black Widow. And we're like, we're supposed to like Black Widow after this like show of military strength? Like,
the show of force.
She's not doing anything.
Well, but I think the reason they haven't adjusted it, in addition to cost, is like the both pro and con thing of like backlot soundstage themed areas is it's the container. You can put anything in the container. Like if a movie's a big hit, you can get it in there real quick. If we need something to distract people, we need something to take people away from the main part of the park. Well, put something short run in the backlot area because it's like a movie studio. You can put any movie, you can put any TV show back there.
Sure.
I think the thing I like about the exterior is the 2D style of like the credits for Monsters Inc. Right? It's one of the movies where they do the credits kind of in like that 2D throwback style. And I would say the one thing I've always wanted to see from Pixar is a full-length 2D animated film or like a 2D 3D combined, like that Paperman short.
Jason, what are you saying?
I'm saying
what are you because but Pixar has never done that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I think
Jason,
like
that's crazy.
Now, Oscar, that's part of
that's Disney's job.
That's my hot take.
No, you leave that to Disney. Pixar does not do that.
But what if they could? Some of those shorts, they get a little innovative. You know,
those shorts. Jason's right. The shorts are a little different.
Yeah. But like
that's dangerous talk, Jason.
You know,
that's dangerous talk. The wrong people hear that, and you can be in serious trouble.
But you see like what people, you know, international, like Secret of Kells or Triplets of Belleville, like these very interesting 2D animated films, and I think, you know.
You're looking for more innovation, yes?
Well, I'm thinking like, you know, you when you see like Pixar artists like Doodle or like when they do shorts or they go off and produce something on their own, it is often not like that CGI kind of style.
Right.
And so I don't know. I just think it would be interesting to see.
You know,
it.
that's a good point because like I do remember in the 70s with 101 Dalmatians being like a shining example of this. Is that a lot of their animations were sort of shown as like rough drafts in the final animation. You could see the line drawings in 101 Dalmatians. Like it looked a little like
the scratchiness.
Rough, but the scratchiness, and it added to the aesthetic of that movie. And I want to see more of that. I want to see more of like, show us a little of like a pared down Pixar film, because it's like every Pixar film is such a freaking like a bullhorn every year. It's like I want to see like a quieter or like a, I don't know, like a gentler
one that doesn't have to be a tentpole so much. Yeah,
exactly. Yes, not a tentpole, understated. Exactly that. Yeah, a little weirder. Give me an odd movie. That isn't the good thing.
Sure. Well, I think Baby Elder should come back, quite frankly. In a new feature. I was looking back through some rumors, and for a while, I think before, because like what probably will happen, I don't know what's going to be the final fate of Monsters, Inc., but it does feel like Marvel will keep swallowing this part of the park within the next 10 years. I don't know if they'll probably get rid of Monsters, Inc., and maybe Maybe they take the heads off other characters and put different Marvel heads on, perhaps. Like Drew Carey's body will still be there, but it'll be like Hawkeye's head now on Drew Carey's body.
Just a weird Jeremy Renner like head. Jeremy Renner head in the style of Superstar Limo.
Oh, I got it. It's Gambit's head, whoever they cast as Gambit, because he has the 4 pamphlets and they turn them into playing cards. That would be That's perfect. Look at that. I'm saving money for the company right here.
So it's the X-Men Superstar
Limo. Superstar Limo. It has to be Superstar Limo again. And
it has to be Superstar Limo.
And Beast builds them all they get rid of the Blackbird, the jet, and they have a new limo that they ride around in.
Well, because you're a student. You're a student at the Xavier Institute, you know?
Yeah.
So you haven't gotten to the jet yet. So you got to go on these like rinky-dink limos, they're called. Mm-hmm. But it stands for something, you know?
And you got to drive them to make money to pay your way through school.
Yeah, for your predatory loan that Professor X loaned you.
that is actually like I've been rereading the Chris Claremont, like the 70s and early 80s X-Men stuff, and they do have a long fancy car that like I guess it's like, well, Professor X is a rich guy, so he would have this, but like when Cyclops needs to jaunt into they were going into the city to go to a nightclub, he's like, well, let me just drive our big car. I'm driving our long Rolls Royce into the city.
So you can weave that into the ride.
Yes.
All of that legend, you know what I mean? All of that story.
Look, these are great ideas. But I hope that happens. But there was a time, according to rumors and hearsay, that this section was just going to become Monstropolis.
Whoa,
like proper.
Really? Wow.
Oh, so they were going to add more stuff to that part
build
of the
it
park?
out more, make it look better. And then there would have been also, I believe I was reading correctly, that there would have been an additional ride, which was the Monsters, Inc., which I've seen this rumored. I'm sure this was for sure rumored for here and for Florida. Monsters, Inc. door coaster. Yeah, it would have been a roller coaster, probably not a crazy one, but it would have been a pretty fun little ride through like doors and through sort of the world.
Oh, that's
which seems great.
How would you be strapped into a door though?
Well, you're not in the door. You'd probably be in some sort of let's say a limo. Let's just say it's a fast limo. You know,
taxi cab, some sort of public transit to play up the sort of
the door maintenance limo.
And on the limo it says "This is a door" painted on it.
Yes.
Love it.
So there was a time, I believe, when that could have happened. I remember even people showing pictures of when they were going to demolish, and now it's Mickey's Mickey and the Magic. Not Magical Map. PhilharMagic. Geez.
Yeah.
They were going to demolish the then Muppet Theater, and they had the balloons in the air, which they use in Imagineering to see how high things are. Like if they would have to build, they use they're not called trial balloons. That's not right, but that's a different thing.
They send the balloon boy up.
Yeah.
See if he gets high enough to get scared.
Right.
Falcon.
Let me down. But I think on all 4 corners of the existing building, they put a balloon up based on, okay, this ride will need to be this tall to see sightline wise how it'll look from different parts of the park and to see what it would look like. Yeah, just to sort of visualize what it would look like if they had to build a very tall structure right there. So I believe they even got as far as maybe measuring stuff like that to do that here. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be Superstar Limo with X-Men.
No way.
That's kind of fascinating. Are you saying all of Hollywood, like if you just turn in that Hollywood area, is that Monstropolis from the get-go?
I think it's just the idea was maybe just those backlot, like the sound stages and that area they use for electronica, and then with an additional ride, and then maybe some eating thing or some restaurant,
that's cool.
Merch.
Harryhausen's,
baby. Harry has and a good sushi place in the parks. That'd be amazing.
They don't have a sushi place at Disneyland, you know?
That's great. That would have been great.
Oh, man.
So I think that was, there was a time when that was very possible, but we'll see.
Wow. Now we're going to get a Fantastic Four sushi restaurant.
It would have been the exact same sushi, though, we know. Like, it would have been the same quality. It would have been bad.
It would have been bad sushi, but the one sushi is going to be real long. One's going to be charred, and one's going to be clear. The wrapping's going to be a jellyfish clear. And then the last one will just be on a rock plate. Yeah, it's just a rock.
Palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Man, I want this expanded Monstropolis. That sounds really good. And because that, when you're behind the flats and looking at that most usually empty stage where they don't do shows very often, that's one of my least favorite zones in a park anywhere. I really hate it. And it was so lame that around Christmas, that's one of the only things you could see. Just really added to the depression of the Christmas festivities. They have to blow that whole zone up. Whatever happened, I would love if Monsters Inc. stayed as long as it could.
Oh, yeah.
But you're right. I think it does hurt, and it puts you in like a weird bad mood when you're going onto the ride. You think about not like, do I really want to walk over there? Do I want to walk past all the scaffolding and the barely painted metal walls? It's a bummer.
Yeah. The Monsters Inc. ride is not a place you go first, technically. Like, usually, no one's like gunning for that ride. You know what I mean? No one's going to be like, I'm going to go to Disneyland to go to that ride and then go home. No, that doesn't happen. It's usually the last ride of the day. You go to Disneyland and then you go to California Adventure, and then you're tired at this point. There's nothing pretty to look at anymore, So like, you're sort of in a bad mood going into it, and that taints everything. But I think there's a power to the ride where you come out of it feeling kind of renewed and feeling good.
It's a good one to like if you're.
It is bright and colorful and nice.
And you see your friends. You see like the nice, like Sulley bonding with Boo, which is adorable. I mean, any depiction of Sulley anywhere, whether it's a walk around or on any ride, just I don't know. It's nice to see Sulley. He's very lovable.
Yeah, and then if you're wearing Mickey ears, the Roz animatronic calls out the fact that you're wearing ears, and it's very nice.
That's
you
one of the
very
things
special.
that Roz can refer to.
Yeah, so she'll say like, the lady in the front, nice ears, are those yours? And it's like that only gets triggered if you are wearing a Mickey Mouse ears.
I do not know
That's
that.
Yeah, cool.
Very cool.
Does Roz work? Is that like one of those situations where there's like a number of phrases and somebody has to be there activating them? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's one of those like, I don't know if the Mr. Potato Head works the same way. I think there's an actual actor.
No, there's not. It's a button thing, I think, because it's Don Rickles' voice.
It's a button thing.
But I think.
Oh, it's not a Don Rickles
It's not like a
impressionist?
25-year-old Don Rickles voice impressionist. Because I think sometimes, I'm sorry to take the magic away.
Sorry to crush your dream. I know you were angling for that when it reopened.
If you want to audition on the podcast right now, go ahead. I mean, Disney listens.
You can call us Chowderheads or whatever. Yeah.
Probably shouldn't use some of the material he used to use, I'll be honest, in 2021.
Yeah.
That is not aged very well.
The explanation that, like, you're all big people. We're all big people here tonight. I don't pick on, that doesn't fly as quite as well nowadays. I think you could do some ribbing and pull that off, but some of that stuff.
Yeah. So,
you're not gonna get
the potato. I was gonna say Potato Head. Yeah, I remember there's been times when he like really can target people in the line, and then sometimes he's just singing a song.
Yes. Yeah.
If the guy wants to take a lunch break.
I'll say this about Monsters Inc. in terms of when I ride it. I think Monsters Inc. and Little Mermaid, I usually end up riding because if you spend a lot of a day at California Adventure, let's assume at normal times, everything's operating. There is a crush in the middle of the day at that park where the rides you really want to go on have super long waits. All the restaurants are packed. And you're like, I got to kill time for a fast pass, or I got to kill time to like let the crowds die down a little at the restaurants or stores. And that is usually Monsters Inc. and Little Mermaid, just because they never stop loading. That is when I find myself on one of those sorts of rides.
So it's like an afterthought. It's not even like you want to go there. You don't want to go there.
It sounds like it's an afterthought.
You hate the ride, Jason.
I'm not going that
I think I will admit it's an afterthought for me, and I'm saying it's not fair. I'm saying it's not fair that that's what happens. I do think it's helping that Guardians now is something I love and go to, so I'm more forced on the way in the flow of traffic.
Do you like the Guardians ride more than Tower of Terror?
The one that was for sure the one that was there I like more, and I also though find now Tower of Terror in Florida a little lacking because of the drop sequence isn't as fun as the one here. But for sure I like it better than what was there before. Because it's a little better in Florida. There's more theming in the one in Florida to the Tower of Terror. But so I am going that way more often now, which leads me on there. But
But you don't go for the Monsters Inc. ride. You go for Guardians of the Galaxy, and then you make a pit stop at Monsters Inc.
And I'm sorry to the ride. It's not fair because I said I go on it. It's almost like because of where it's located, all the good feelings I just had disappear so quickly because I'm in a really barren, weird place again. So it almost feels like a dream. It's like
you're right, and also you're right in terms of like tone as well. Like you go to Guardians of the Galaxy, that area feels like very like adult to me. Like it's not a place that like it doesn't have the whimsy or magic that I think like that ride should belong. That ride belongs in Disneyland, number one, and number two, in like a more youthful area of the park.
Yeah, it's also I feel like maybe if they just built a really sort of I'm trying to think. Like an office building that's a little stylized or something that like looks like a thing, and that isn't.
Yeah. You know what? It's the thing is here's. Let's be quite honest. This is an afterthought even for the people working at the parks. Literally, it's an afterthought. It's not. You know what I mean? They didn't not mean to make Monsters Inc. the ride.
Yeah, it's true.
And it reflects. It shows. It shows in the park.
Yeah, it should be like it,
and that's a shame.
It should be like the Dunder Mifflin office or something. Like they should give it. I mean, look,
the actual Dunder Mifflin.
Well, look, it's the most popular show of all time. I get you may as well. I know they don't own it, but give it an homage, maybe. Like there should be a little something there to sort of make me go, oh, I need to, like the Haunted Mansion or whatever. You see it and you go, oh, you get that good feeling from the Haunted Mansion. I walk by Monsters Inc. and I go, there's some paint, there's a flat piece of cardboard with the colors on the outside Monsters Inc. written.
Well, do you want it to look like where they work, like the factory?
That's good,
what you're saying? I mean, probably better
Sure.
that than the Dunder Mifflin office, I would think.
You know what? No, I think it should be the actual Dunder Mifflin office. I think that's what.
All right, Scott, it's got to be something from the movie.
Whatever.
Something that makes logical sense.
What a stickler.
Even for the container part of the park. All right.
No, I think you're right. Bad. Like, because there is a better exterior in Tokyo, in the Tokyo ride, which is a different ride called Ride and Seek, and it is left over from the exterior that was there, but it lent itself more to that industrial, the grand building and the hall, like the atrium that you walk into when you get into the ride, and you get into line, is like, the monsters are very proud of where they work. That's a thing you really feel in the movie. They're so proud to be scarers or Mike's a scarer assistant or whatever. They love these hallowed halls, and I think you feel that when you go into the Tokyo one. You're in these narrow corridors, and then the building itself still is sound stagey. You want to feel Sully's pride when you walk into the thing. It might help.
Sully's pride.
That he landed on the Hudson. He landed, and everyone was okay.
Sully made a miracle happen. And
do you still get on a cab in the Tokyo Disneyland ride?
I wonder what that vehicle is supposed to be.
Yeah,
it's this whole other.
Oh, but it's a vehicle.
Yeah,
okay.
And it's this premise where it is, as opposed to this ride, which is kind of during the events of the movie, this is post the movie, where it is not screams that power the city anymore, it is laughs. So there is a fun game that is done now that is a hide and seek game with a flashlight. So you get a flashlight. It's basically like a Buzz Lightyear laser tag ride, but you point a flashlight at things instead of a gun, so it's like a more family friendly. But then Boo gets loose again and you gotta find Boo, and Randall still gets comeuppance. He gets crushed into a cube in this really amazing sequence. It's extremely cool. It's a very cool run.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
It's interesting. So I'm trying to. I'll stop talking about the exterior because the ride itself is good, but it is funny. Like thinking about like Pirates in Florida doesn't have the queue that California does. California has obviously that building's exterior, and it's a lot better. The one in Florida doesn't even have like the how like there's the restaurant, Blue Bayou restaurant, doesn't have that intro part to the ride. It feels like the best rides like really ease you in and out. But also when you see the building of it, also it's like enticing you. It's like the best rides have all of that in it.
Yeah. But also, I mean, we have to think about the fact that the Monsters Inc. ride is a substitute ride. You know what I mean? It replaced as much as I love it, a shitty ride, Superstar Limo Tours. It's just like it was never meant to be the star. Despite the name having Superstar in the title, this was an afterthought. This was like, honestly, a ride filler. Let's be real.
It was plugging a hole in a rowboat.
And that's exactly it.
The expectations are different when they start from a blank expansion pack.
Oh, yeah.
And just build fresh, as opposed to reskinning. We got to get something in here. People say there's not enough characters in this park. People say there's not enough family dark ride kind of things in this park. So it kind of was a necessity, being the mother of invention.
I need to cut it slack.
Exactly. Yes.
I need to be. I need to be nicer.
Be nicer.
But there's always room for improvement. I mean, here we've been trying to do our thing and plus it up, keep it as is, or burn it down for insurance money. I think there are some options here, and I'm not sure. Like in Mike's case, Mike, is your version of this make it a grander experience? Fill in some of those things that they couldn't do in the rush job of 2005.
And Dunder Mifflin exterior, Michael Scott actor outside, voice actor. Inside talking,
like
look alike. If there's a Michael Scott,
big head, big.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, and then I mean, you could put as many as you want. Dwight, we could have Dwight out there, so that would be my plus up. Is just get these Office characters.
But then it's the Monsters Inc. ride.
It's a Monsters Inc. character ride, but people want to see the Office characters. I think this is perfect.
Rendered like Superstar Limo, looking like scary miniature dummies.
That'd be good.
Well, they're still under there. Turn Cindy Crawford into Pam.
Great. Yeah.
And Melanie Griffith is Angela.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I think this makes a lot.
Jackie Chan is Oscar. Yeah,
it
makes sense.
Drew Carey is Dwight, I guess. Yeah, there's an equivalent.
But Regis Philbin stays Regis Philbin.
Sure. Yes, in honor. All right, babe. Okay. Does anybody else have strong feelings about what could happen here? I feel like I'm not in dire need to. I think we got to plus up everything around the ride. Just take that awful flat out of there. But I think if with the right new ride, I wouldn't miss this. Jason, what you said last time about, or Joe Rohde's quote about like these things are like Broadway shows, you get a run and that's a good run and then something else has to come in. I think like for the right replacement, I think I could say, hey, Monsters Inc. was great, but let's do the next thing. But it would have to be good. Can't be an afterthought. And I will not keep it a limo if possible.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I feel like, sadly, I'm not going to be so upset if they get rid of it, but it's not fair. I mean, it would be nice if they could move it and make it like a little grander somewhere else. Like, I don't know how, I mean, they do sometimes move stuff like this, but and they probably won't, but it would be fun if they like really massively built out Toontown or something and put this. I guess this doesn't really make sense in Toontown, but does it really make sense in Hollywood?
Certainly not.
Yeah, where would it make sense? It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, because it's like there's like California Adventure is Pixar area. Like I think they've supposedly, I don't think they've said it unofficially, but like California Adventure supposedly is Pixar, Marvel, and Disneyland is Star Wars, and then classic Disney.
Apparently they have Pixar also in Disneyland. So
but there's also a ton of Pixar because they didn't make that rule before.
Yeah. It's from now on.
Yeah. So it's a hot mess.
So going forward, supposedly that's what it is until it changes tomorrow.
Jason or Oscar? Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, if they fully build out like Marvel Comics in New York in this area, I will be in heaven if they do it right. Like they're opening Avengers Campus, and I'm excited to go to it. But it's like it looks like a college campus with a jet on the roof. It's like I don't know. That's not quite. That's not quite the excitement I had as reading the comics as a kid. It was like, oh, I want to go to a college. Like, and that's not even the X-Men's man. At least the X-Men's mansion was like, I know the X-Men are in there. It's like, oh, there's a building where I'll like learn from Hulk. He'll teach me.
Yeah, that feels weird. Also, it's not canon, and it's like, okay, I don't know how I feel about that.
I could do without. I like Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man being in the Avengers. Like, I like him being worked into the universe, but like the stuff that's coming with the ride, I'm sure I will enjoy the ride. But like all this stuff about like, hey, STEM, huh, kids? Don't you like STEM? And it's just like, I don't know. Can't kids? Do you gotta? Do you push this?
Listen, if they're committing to a university, put Monsters University.
Hey, there we go.
Sure.
And presumably there's some liberal arts at that Monsters University, because we gotta have some liberal arts graduates too. We can't just have engineers and stuff. Otherwise, you end up with all these Silicon Valley psychos.
And also, like in the case of like of what you were saying, Scott, about keeping Monsters Inc. right, it's like I don't mind it. I don't mind them getting rid of it, but if we get rid of it, as far as I know, that's the only Monsters Inc. representation we see at the park, and that's unfair. That's unfair. We gotta have Monsters Inc. somewhere in the park, so we either like tear it down and rebuild another Monsters Inc. thing, or move Monsters Inc. somewhere else in the park.
Well, there is one frozen treat. The frozen treat stand in Pixar Pier.
Get out of here, Jason.
Yeti.
Get the fuck out of here. No, that's not what I mean.
I know that's not what you mean, but I do like that if you go by that door screen at the right time, and I think this is a good use of screens in the ride, the doors to different places. The Yeti offers you like a lemon ice, which you can then go buy on Pixar Pier.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Why can't there be little doors like that, like just scattered throughout the park?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that would be
great. You never
great.
know when someone will say hi.
Like doors that don't lead to anywhere. They could be like storage spaces, but just like make a door on the outside, and it could lead. Like, have those little interactive moments with like the Yeti or Cecilia, et cetera, et cetera. I would be satisfied with that.
Or the front of the building. You cover the front of the building in different doors, and then you can stand there and watch a little show between all the doors.
That's fantastic.
Like Laugh-In, like an updated Laugh-In.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Monster Laugh-In's pretty good.
That's a good show.
$1 billion ideas.
I mean, hey,
left and right on this episode.
Could they turn the Hall of Presidents into Laugh-In, maybe like with doors, and like that at least like you can get the like you won't be like a serious political thing anymore where people boo the president.
Well,
it'll just be like Nixon and everybody opening up a door and saying "Sock it to me."
Are people really booing presidents at the Hall?
Well,
I'm sure
the last couple presidents certainly.
No one's booing Zachary Taylor.
No,
I don't think so.
Interesting.
Not for a few decades.
It'd be great to see a Lincoln with like the Daniel Day-Lewis like sock it to me. I don't know. His voice is so weird.
We're on the world stage now. No, suck it to me now.
Like, he did because they say Lincoln they think had a much higher register that he was portrayed in like old 50s and 60s movies, and so like Daniel Day-Lewis doing a very interesting voice in that movie.
Interesting, but he's so tall.
That is weird. Yeah,
yeah.
Tall people should have deep voices. Yes.
They have they have a plot of land, I think, back in Pixar Pier that could be developed on.
Yeah.
So that's where Door Laugh-In
should have it in the
goes. Get Door Laugh-In cooking, and we'll be set. And then the ride can, then it'll become a literal afterthought, I guess.
Yeah.
That's sad. I'm trying to provoke Oscar with these divisive words, I think.
I mean, you're not yes, I'm mad about it, but listen, I can't be mad at the truth, and that is the truth. It's an afterthought ride. Pains me to say, but it is, and I think as far as an afterthought ride, it's pretty dang good.
It's great.
That's true.
I think it's kind of great for what it is, with what type of ride it is, and I like it better than Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
100%. And that was not an afterthought ride. That was like a ride they wanted to make. Huh?
So you might be disappointed.
I think we should. We could bolster Monsters Inc. Like the fan response. I think we should the next thing they put on a meme kind of T-shirt is the guy with the photos of Boo. His line is, part of the fun of those, the Yellow Seat decontamination guys is you can have them say anything, and his delivery when you go by him, he says, I have information on the girl. He says the weirdest, he says it the strangest way. So if Disney, I think you'll make big bucks if you start selling, I have information, ... on the girl on a T-shirt.
I'm going to catchphraseify that. All right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's put it out there, Jason. Yeah. So hopefully they do it.
Yeah. All right.
I think I'm just going to make the T-shirt.
Yeah, we actually, we have a T-Public. Yeah, we should
just go. Now it's a race to the...
Make it official merch.
To the finish. Whichever one of us does it first, cashes in first. So we all got to make a dash to a T-Public. For now, Oscar Montoya, You Survived Podcast, The Ride. What a blast. Thank you so much. This was really fun.
This is so fun. Thank you so much.
Let's exit through the gift shop. Is there anything you would like to plug?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Ozzymo, OZZYMO. I also have a bunch of podcasts, one of them being a music video podcast called Podcast Kill the Video Star, where we are on a quest, me and Mano Gapian are on a quest to find the top 100 definitive best music videos of all time, and then the listeners get to vote for which one makes it to the countdown. I have Spanish Aquí Present. It's a Latinx comedy podcast. Listen to that wherever you listen to podcasts. Inside the Disney Vault, where I and Rachel Chapman and Claire Logren watch every single Disney animated movie in chronological order. We did that. We watched every Pixar movie. We did that. Now we're watching every DCOM in chronological order, and that is a trip.
Wait, what is that? Wait, every what?
That's fun. Every single DCOM, Disney Channel.
Oh, I didn't know
movie.
that acronym. Oh my God.
Boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're all on Disney Plus. There's a pretty deep archive there.
They're all on Disney Plus. Yeah. So it's a fun little, actually after Disney Plus, we had a nice little boost because people now could watch them, watch along and but yeah. And other than that, you can watch me on a Fox show called Bless the Hearts. It's an animated show every Sunday at 8:30 on Fox or wherever you watch that show.
Yeah, and you didn't like Fuzz Bucket.
I love Fuzz Bucket. You didn't like Fuzz Bucket. Don't put words in my mouth.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I apologize.
Since we're going back to that conversation, I have a little addendum that appeared during this recording. This is straight. About an hour ago, I was trying to close out of some windows so that the internet would be a little better, and I clicked on my email, and I had a new email that was updating me about an eBay order. Let me explain. I looked up the date. On November 29th, I purchased on eBay something for Mike Carlson for Christmas. It gave me an estimated delivery date of December 18th. December 18th rolled around, no sign of anything. I checked the listing and it was all right, so label printed, and then nothing else had occurred. I'm like, okay, well, this thing isn't coming. I used some Terramana tequila to fill the Christmas order. That's something in its own right. But I was trying to do this thing, and then somehow during this recording, I got an update about this. And we're recording this on January 19th. So this was supposed to come December 18th. It is now January 19th, and I get this email from an eBay seller. I'm contacting you because as of the last month and a half, there's been a major backup and delay with USPS. Packages have not scanned or delivered. Please let me know if you've received this item. If not, I'm sorry for wasting your time, and I hope you understand the bother. If you have not, please let me know so I can get the ball rolling and put a trace on this package. Suddenly, there is imperative. Somebody really has the fire to get this thing out to me. A month later, what is this item? You may ask. The item is a baby Alador action figure.
No. What am I looking at?
It's not what you're looking at. The question really is this cute? Now, it doesn't quite look like the movie, Owens. Let me see if I can get a bigger vintage Disney Baby Aladar sound walking dino alive Aladar toy figure works. And I don't know if I can see it any better than that. It's a pretty small photo. Oh, no, there we go.
Oh my! They have the merch for the Baby Aladar.
Did you know this, Mike? Had you ever checked in on this?
I think we looked on the episode a little bit. I didn't see this one though.
Really? This might have been like part of another toy. Like there might be like a bigger like mechanism that's supposed to be with it, but they broke this off into its own.
But
thing.
what would it be? What could it be possibly paired with? A turd?
Oh,
a dino turd?
An adorable little turd.
No!
Oh, think about it. Imagine it.
You're going to have to rig up the turd yourself. And imagine for yourself. You can make it out of Play-Doh, make it out of a little piece of chocolate.
Yeah. Oh, fudgy
I believe a listener emailed us that they had this toy and their family tried to get rid, and it was like a haunted toy. Like it for years, like with just the batteries never quite died. So every now and then it would just make a horrific like sound. And then every time they tried to get rid of it, it would end back in the house. I have to go back and look through our emails.
Am I getting a cursed toy?
Well, I think so.
So maybe you are getting it. Maybe you are finally getting it. That's why I couldn't get it.
It's trying to.
But then we bring up Baby Aladar for the first time in months, and suddenly it appears again. There absolutely is a ghost thing.
Yeah, you know what you did? You secreted this shit right here.
I manifested.
You manifested it.
It's going to end up in Scott's house.
I mean, it'll have to wait. It's going to come to me to where I live, but maybe I won't bring it inside. I think I have to leave it if it never actually enters my home. I think I'll feel more comfortable. I'll leave it on the porch. I'll let you know. You can come get it on your own time.
What if
I think your child has a new best friend.
Never. No.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to pick up the package and you're going to open it up, and then your son is going to go, brother?
No, oh my God.
Aladar, his first word.
Aladar.
Like Aladar.
How would he know?
Like E.T. He sounds like E.T. too. Aladar.
He's in school one day, and kids are talking about trying to see if they can figure out where babies come from, and he says, "Babies come from the mail. That's where my bestest little brother came from."
eBay.
An angel
Let's
named
get
eBay.
this kid. Let's teach him a lesson.
Oh God. Oh God.
When the other kids are
they turn.
Everybody knows it's from sex. Let's beat him up.
Good boy generation 2 doesn't know babies come from sex.
His dad does a theme park podcast still. He's been doing it for 10 years.
Get him harder. Get him harder than before. No, I will not sentence my child to this. That's why we're getting out of here. We're not going to engage this fantasy anymore. Go to our social medias and check us out there on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And if you want 3 bonus episodes every month, go to Podcast the Ride, the Second Gate at patreon.com/Podcast the Ride. There, the buck stops here, I say. However, though, I would like to end the episode on it. Just, Jason, if you could do one clean, what you imagine that toy sounds like based on what the listener told you. And we'll compare it eventually when it comes and Mike tests it himself. Did you do it?
Like,
wait,
yeah.
I didn't hear it. Wait,
I didn't
louder.
hear it.
Oh, okay. Like a man, someone choking in a restaurant.
All right, we will put the real.
And it probably was supposed to say like, "Hurry, come on, everyone,
stand together." That's Aladar's catchphrase. Stand together.
Stand together.
It sounds cute. Honestly, that sounds like a cute little noise.
Well,
yeah, just record Jason doing that and put that in the toy so it sounds like that.
We'll make a toy, and then we'll start selling these. We'll 3D print them. We'll copy the mold. Now we've got a record.
I'm going to carry Baby Aladar around like he's Grogu. and I'm Mandalorian.
You have to protect him.
He's going to have a floating
And then-
bassinet.
In a few years, we'll see like a post from like a Chris Evans or Chris Pine of like, and by the way, the upcoming movie Aladar, it's not based on Disney's, it's based on the dinosaur Aladar that exists, that the movie was based on.
Why was it only Chris's, Jason?
Huh?
Oh,
because I couldn't remember. Because one Chris is playing Buzz Lightyear, and I couldn't remember which of the Chris's it
I
was.
will remember the Chris's. Yes.
I believe it's Evans.
It is Evans, yeah. He's playing.
And also, Chris is, I'm not getting anywhere. Only Chris is allowed to work. You know? can't do anything.
All right. We'll put this cursed item up to the microphone when it's in our possession. But for now, thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production. Executive produced by Mike Carlson, Jason Sheridan, Scott Gardner, Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. For more original podcasts, please visit foreverdogpodcasts.com and subscribe to our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Keep up with the latest Forever Dog news by following us on Twitter and Instagram at Forever Dog Team and liking our page on Facebook.
Hey, we haven't even pulled away from the drive-thru and you're already digging in the McDonald's bag.
Aw, babe, just a few.
All right. I guess I can't blame you. Pass me some, too.
The smells too good to get it all the way home meal. There's a meal for every moment at McDonald's.
And now your favorite spicy chicken McNuggets are back. Get a 6-piece spicier classic for just $2.50, only at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.